Hank, what are the odds of getting your hit Tetris game on our PC engine? Because we'd love some of that.
Nothing! Absolutely nothing!
Oh. Okay, well, you've got anything else you can give us? Oh. 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 Can I have my money back? From the guy who brought you Tetris comes Hatris, a puzzle game released in 1990 for the Nintendo, Game Boy, and today's subject matter, PC engine, because I guess the world was clamoring for more Hatris, I guess. Okay, I'm lying. Oh, and by the way, this is a Japan-only release that never graced the American TurboGrafx 16, and also, at least as of this recording, not included on the Tetris Forever compilation, which I doubt it will be, because you gotta save something for the eventual Hatris Forever compilation that will never, ever happen. But enough about that. Here's how Hatris works, everyone. You have a pair of hats falling from above, and you have to create vertical stacks of 5 of the same type of hat to clear them from the board. If one hat lands on a higher stack, you can still control the other hat, so long as you have space to do so. As you progress, different types of hats will be introduced onto the board, each varying in height and space occupied. Taller hats like the top hat or the cone take up more space, while crowns don't stack, they just land on top of each other like blocks. These are things to be mindful of as you're playing Hatris. Every so often, one of your hats will be replaced with a fireball, which come in one of 2 varieties. Red fireballs will burn away a stack of the same hats, while blue fireballs will burn the entire column of hats, so long as it doesn't touch a crown, which will cancel out the fireball regardless of color. Clearing 25 stacks of hats will clear the stage, upon which you can pick a hat type to clear from the board, which can only be used once per type, or you can pass on that and just move on to the next stage. Clearing stage 9 will give you a cutscene and move you on to the next shop. So I'll be honest here, I was never a fan of Hatris. It feels like Sega puzzle game columns, but far more limiting. Only restricted to vertical stack clears make sense since you're stacking hats and, well, but it doesn't make for a fun time, especially when more hat types are involved and distributed in such random fashion that the majority of play feels more based on dumb luck than genuine deep thought. Much like the Game Boy version of Hatris that we played, there's no soft drop functionality. Pressing down to speed up the descent of your blocks or whatever, that doesn't exist here. So you either have to wait out the hat's descents, which could be slow, especially in the early stages, or you press down to slam the hat on top of whatever stack it's floating on top of, hoping the other hat in the pair is still free to go wherever you need it to. And this PC Engine port doesn't help matters much with its turbo-sensitive controls, where a slight tap on the D-pad is enough to careen your hats from one end to another, giving the game a slippery feel that has resulted in some unwanted moves being made unintentionally. In any event, Hatris is a one-player game, so none of that competitive nonsense. You could choose to start at any of the 10 stages, which controls the drop speed, and the shop setting, of which you have 6, gives you a bunch of hats to clear, similar to how height settings in Tetris would determine the amount of garbage blocks in the playfield. Hatris sports some fairly average-looking graphics, which is enough to convey the information on screen. You have different types of hats and they look distinct and easy to tell apart. I do like that if you land a fireball on top of someone's head, you can mess up their hair and even burn it off with a second fireball. It never goes further than that, however. This is, after all, family-friendly entertainment. Released only in Japan, so I think you could get away with a couple burnings, or maybe not. On the audio front, you have a number of music tracks playing in the background, the same tracks heard in other versions of Hatris, and they're surprisingly underwhelming iterations of these tunes, which, let's be honest, weren't all that great in the first place. And of course, there are sound effects. They exist. Not much else to say there. Overall, Hatris on PC Engine is the same Hatris game that exists on Game Boy and other places, but with much more slippery controls and tinnier sounding music. For what it's worth, as a Hatris game, it's largely functional, somewhat playable version of the game, but it's not some lost hidden gem or anything like that. You can easily satisfy your Hatris fix if such a thing exists with the versions included on Tetris Forever. This particular version on the PC Engine, on the other hand, it exists, and it's content with existing on this mortal plane of existence, and that really is all there is to say about that.